Good morning, everybody. As you can see, my ministry partner, Pastor Doug, isn't here. He's the one usually that hits the button, and I couldn't see the numbers going to know if it was actually recording or not. But I want to welcome you to another session of Pastor Doug's virtual VIP midweek Bible study. That's hard to say, by the way. And so glad that you're here. Pastor Doug is traveling. I think he's celebrating his anniversary or something. So they're on a little bit of a road trip and having some fun riding bikes and stuff, playing a little bit of golf. Glad everybody has taken the time to tune in. And I want to tell you this new series that I'm on about reimagining your thinking and reimagining your life is really, really special to me because it's kind of like, that's in me. That's kind of my mindset for my life has been, mind control. It began early on in my years of athletics and stuff like that. And I have found that those that think they can achieve things often will be able to do way more than they thought because they had the confidence to do that. And I think confidence goes a long way in life in lots of different areas, but it all comes from how you think. And I remember I used to think about, I knew all the work that I put in preparing for these games and all the practice shots I would take. And I can remember some evenings at Blue Mountain High School after maybe I didn't shoot as well as I would have liked to. Everybody's gone and most of the gym is dark, and I'm out there shooting a little bit, working on things. So I practiced. A lot of times, guys would leave the football field practice, and I would stay out and continue to throw. And so I felt like I put in a lot of work and training and planning. But what that did is it gave me the confidence to think and feel like I could accomplish maybe more than the average person might have been. And I don't know. It worked for me. Let's just say that it worked for me. It helped me through that time. So thinking is so powerful. I spent a lot of time this past week talking about the brain and how great it is, and I spoke about things that I don't understand what they are, neurons and all kinds of stuff going on, and we don't really, for the most part, have a clear understanding. Unless you're a doctor or maybe a nurse, you might know more. But we just know there's a lot going on up there, and there's a lot of power there. And it's very, very capable. I've often heard that we don't use all of that ability, and I kind of believe that. But there's a lot up there, and there's a lot in there, and it has a tremendous amount of potential for both good and at the same time for bad. Um, as equally powerful and can be in a positive way, it also can be in a negative way. It can cause us problems, and it could lead to some disasters in our lives by how we think. And I don't know that there's ever a time where I meet with somebody in private on a counseling type session that doesn't involve how we're thinking. Speaking with somebody just recently, and they made it some serious dumb moves, as they put it, on in their marriage, and speaking to an old girlfriend at one time. And the guy said it was just stupid, and I don't know what I was thinking, is what he said, and I said too, I don't know what were you thinking that you thought that was okay. But see, at some point, the thought processes took place. Before any actions happen or inactions happen, you're thinking about it. And that's kind of the pivotal thing. It's controlling everything. I like the scriptures that I shared with you, and I talked to you about Proverbs 4:23. And I gave you two translations. The first translation I gave you was from the New Century Version of the Bible, still the same Bible, Proverbs 4:23 in the New Century says this: "Be careful what you think about, because your thoughts run your life." Your thoughts run your life. And in the English version of that same scripture from Proverbs 4, "Be careful what you think about, because your life is shaped by your thoughts." So, what you're doing today, as you're listening to me, you've arrived at that point in your thinking today based on what you've thought about and your situations that you have, we have either positive or negative feeling. Oh, this is going to be a disaster, or this is never going to work, or I can't do this job. You've thought about this ahead of time, which has kind of dictated where you are right now in that situation. And let's think about something fun, a leisure thing, a recreation thing. So many times you've heard me talk about hunting, and many of you are hunters, and you understand what this is like to get up in a tree stand or sit down by your favorite tree and sit there hoping that you see the game you're after. And for me, it's primarily white-tailed deer. I'm looking for a big buck. And a lot of my ability to sit there and stay and be patient and be vigilant is all built around whether I think I've got a good chance or not, whether I think they're moving around today or not, whether I'm in a good area or not. And what we do now is I put out these trail cameras, and now I even have cell cameras that are sending me pictures right as the deer are actually there. It's really a neat convenience, but boy, it drives you crazy. That phone's beeping in the middle of the night. There's a big buck standing right at my stand. I haven't had it happen yet, but what if I'm sitting in one place and the camera goes off in another place and there's a big buck standing under my tree stand at the stand I was going to go to? So, right, you create more chaos in my life. But our thinking is just so powerful. There's nothing that you have ever done that you don't think about. How about this part? Have you ever been driving along and you're thinking about something else and you don't remember going through a certain area? Boy, I just passed that area and I don't remember going there because I was thinking about something else. I didn't run into anybody. So my mind works in a way that allows me to be safe. And it's called something. I don't know what it's called, but it's called something. And you're able to travel this pathway and not run into anybody, but at the same time, focused on maybe something else. It's powerful. Our relationships, we all think about our relationships. And then our thinking gives us a feeling. I was talking about in the sports and athletics, a feeling of confidence or a feeling of no confidence, a feeling of, hey, I got a really good chance at this tree stand, or I got a terrible opportunity. I'm not going to get this job. This interview ain't going to go well. We're thinking ourselves into these types of feelings. So your thinking process controls how you feel, all right? And how you feel then determines how you act. So when we understand that and we can accept that, and I think for many of us, we need to accept that. Is that really true? Think, feel, act. Is it really true? Well, it's mostly true. It's most of the time it's very accurate. How I think determines how I feel. How I feel determines how I act. So if I want to act a certain way, and let's think about this. This has to do with lifestyles. This has to do with choices in our world of things that we choose to do or things we choose not to do. All comes from how we think about that thing. For example, we're not going to drink arsenic on purpose unless we're trying to kill ourselves and we're thinking, I don't want to be here anymore, or I might do something like that so crazy. But I'm not going to do that normally because I don't want to die. I'm not going to eat. I'm thinking about what I eat. Yeah, I love a good. Yeah, how about this? Reese's cups cold. They're pretty good, aren't they? I like them cold. I like all my chocolate cold. And so in my hunting bag, when I take and don't tell Robin this, but I only take a little bit of candy in there. Sometimes I take way too much. But you get those Reese's cups or a Milky Way that's in your backpack out in the woods when it's cold, and boy, you get that cold, and you're sitting in your favorite stand. Man, that's pretty cool for me. But thinking about preparing for that, thinking about what I eat. If that's all I ate, I would be way bigger than I am now. I'm pretty big now, but I'd be way bigger than that. And so we think about everything and it develops into our lives in lots of ways. We think about the person that we're attracted to, and our wives, or your spouse, or whatever. You're thinking about how you deal with your children. All of these thinking processes are happening instantaneously, and a lot of them are going on at the same time. I think about you guys, and then that develops on how I feel about the church body as a whole, and then that determines how I act. If I'm feeling great about just our opportunities. And I got to tell you, I think about you guys. I love you guys. The loyalty that you show. This is your church and the commitment levels that you have. That means so much to me. I may be a lot of things, but couple of things that I really am is I'm loyal and I'm dedicated. And if you're on my team or you're part of my family, be it blood family or church family, you got my backing, and I'll support you and I'll stand toe to toe with anybody for you. I promise you that. That's how I am because I think about that and I've made that decision and I feel confident about that, and that's how I act. Um, how about this? I spend a lot of time thinking about God, thinking about his commitment to our church and to our families and to me. I think about what he's done for me. And that gives me a confidence knowing that I have an eternal home in heaven. I can feel good about that. And then I can face life with confidence because I know where my eternal home is. And I know that, yeah, at 67, guys, let's just face it, I have less years to spend on this earth than I've already spent. I know that. And that's okay with me because I know where my future is. I don't want to go anywhere. I love what I do. I love talking with you guys each week on Sunday and doing this midweek study. I enjoy when Doug's here so I can make fun of him because I like to do that. And I just get such a kick out of how he looks because I know in his life as a captain of a big huge American Airlines jet, not many people are making fun of him. Certainly his crew isn't. But then he comes with me and I tease him. He just looks at me with that big old grin. He's such a good guy, and I really miss him. But anyway, it's like that. The connection. I know Doug loves me. He knows I love him. We laugh and we joke around. We have a bond. We have a feeling for each other, and we've committed together to build your kingdom. So that's build God's kingdom. So that's showing our actions. I just encourage you that if you have actions today and or are feeling a certain way today, there's nothing that you're feeling or nothing that you're doing that cannot be changed by changing your thinking. In my pathways, I end up working a lot with folks who don't believe in God, who are atheists or deists or theists or whatever they decide they want to be. I have a lot of people that come in those categories and they seem to find me somehow. And that's okay. I love talking to them. But what I'm talking to them about is how they think. Because how they think determines how they feel, and how they feel determines, well, I don't believe in God. I don't go to church. That's because that's my actions. It's because of my feelings, and my feelings are determined by what I think. Well, I wasn't raised that way. I find it hard to believe in a God. I find it hard to believe in creation, whatever it might be. Listen, don't dismiss the value of your thinking. And if you could get a hold of this, listen to me here. If you could get a hold of this ability of this think, feel, act thing, and if you could control your thinking and develop it in a way that allows you to do things and reach things in levels that you could do things maybe that you never even thought possible. You're capable of doing that because of the brain power that God has given you, created you in his image, and he's created you with this types of things and abilities to do. And if you don't do them, it's your fault. It's not my fault. It's not God's fault. It's your fault. We all have that same ability. Think, feel, act is true. Make it part of your life. Take it and put it in every category that you deal with. Think, feel, act. It'll change your life. God bless you. Excited to see you on Sunday. I'm going to be doing part 2. I'm going to give you 5 more pillars of reimagining your thinking. God bless you and have a great day.